Halloween is coming and you want to have a more meaningful celebration than just going out and spending all kinds of money on costumes and eating metric crap tons of candy that you help your children heist from your neighbors. Well, I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to do those things, but I am a humble servant. So allow me to show you how our ancestors celebrated the time they called Samhain. But first, I think you should understand the mystical origins of this Celtic festival that parallels the holiday of Halloween. So grab yourself a seat, grab a drink. I've got a story for you. I am Castle. I come from a long line of ancient storytellers, and you are accompanying me on my journey to live up to that lineage. And on today's step in that journey, you will learn all there is to know about the origins of Samhain. And then I will teach you how to celebrate like a true generational heathen. Or at the very least, you will learn how my clan does. In my book, Norse Gaelic Traditions and Festivals, I share the traditional stories of Samhain, as well as those that are unique to my clan, as well as many other festivals, as well as recipes that were handed down to me by my grandfather and grandmother. It's not exhaustive, it's more of a handbook, but it is a nice introduction on how you can start celebrating the way that our ancestors did, but brought into the modern tradition. In the chapter on Samhain, I cover the origins of the festival, and why it is the veil thins and creepy things happen around this time of year. Like why ghosts and monsters can walk the land during Samhain and All Hallows Eve. In Celtic myth, there are two legendary races. The first are the most ancient, and they are called the Fomorians, the titans of Celtic mythology, often described as evil, horrifying monsters. They are the powerful primordial ancestors of the people of Ireland, as well as some of the mainland Celtic tribes. And the second were the first invaders of Ireland, called the Tuatha Dé Danann, or the tribe of Danu. Led by the goddess Danu, they battled constantly for dominion over the lush and magical lands of Ireland. After a few centuries of battle, and the two groups having to fight off other invaders to the Isle, the tribe of Danu and the Fomorians reached a truce of sorts. They would alternate kings from the two groups, allowing them to rule over all of Ireland. The Fomorians, usually being more powerful, typically held the position of king, as the leader was usually chosen based off of their overall strengths. How strong were they as a warrior, how powerful were they as a leader, and how respected were they as a thinker. And for many centuries, the one-eyed lord of the Fomorians, Baelor, ruled over Ireland. However, in the battle between the Tuatha Dé and the Firbolg, who were the third invaders of Ireland, Baelor unfortunately lost his hand, his battle hand, which would have been his right hand. Baelor, no longer being able to fight effectively, was considered crippled and therefore no longer worthy of the crown. And this was actually a law that would live on for many centuries in Celtic tribes about the physical capability of leaders. But given that he was still alive, he was allowed to name his successor. So he named his son the brave and indulgent god, Nuada. But Nuada would prove to be a selfish and negligent king, so he was forcibly unseated from the throne and replaced by a more benevolent god, Lu, the god of sun, prosperity, skill, and warmth. Now there are many versions of this tale, and in some, Nuada is the ruling king who loses his hand, and his son, Brez, is then the one who is the unworthy king who is unseated by Lu. It really just depends where and who is telling the story. But back to it. Nuada all but throws a fit and takes his grievances to his father, Baelor. Baelor then rallies the rest of the Fomorian titans together and declares war on the sitting Tuatha Dé Danann. And we are given the Battle of Mag Tuirí. Mag meaning plain and Turig meaning tower. Now, Turig could mean tower, it could mean lament. We take it to mean towers of lament. And you see, this was a plainier bridge between the land of men and the land of the gods called Mag Mael. And again, this is primarily in our clan stories. But the plain of Mag Turig bridged the living world with the world of the gods. And during this final battle, all of the elements, all of the greatest powers clashed together, tearing at the very fabric of space and time. And eventually, Mag Turig would be destroyed. And it would leave a great scar, not just on the space that it left behind, but on time. And now, every year, on the time around when the original battle took place, a time we know as Samhain, the veil thins, and the barrier between the realm of the Fae, the gods, the Aoshi, and the dead is ever so slightly passable into the realm of the living. At least that's how the story goes. Now, this is just one version of the story, as I said, and sometime later the Sons of Mill and the Gaels would invade Ireland and finally defeat what was left of the Fomorians and the Tuatha Dé Danann. And at that time, King Manannán mac Lir would then guide all of the kin of the Tuatha Dé Danann, all of the creatures, all of their children, all of the gods, beneath the mounds of Ireland, beneath the hills. And from then on, they would forever be known as the Aoshi, the people, the little people, beneath the mounds. However, before they went beneath the mounds, the two groups would come to an agreement. Once per year, at the time of the Battle of Mag Turig, the Tuatha Dé Danann would come back to the world of man and dine with each other, have a great feast, as well as sit with their mortal descendants. And that time, my friends, is the time that we call Samhain.